ringgit, which was increased by 100 million ringgit compared to last year's allocations. Similar to Sarawak's special grant, it remained unchanged at 125.6 million ringgit. UNWA also announced Sabah's full autonomy towards its electricity supply effective January 3, 2024, though the federal government will still support to strengthen the supply via subsidy.
Kerajaan Persekutuan tetap akan membantu Kerajaan Sabah dalam mengukuhkan industri bekalan elektrik melalui pemberian subsidi kepada Sabah Electricity Sdn Bhd sehinggalah pelan transformasi SESB berjaya dilaksanakan.
Moreover, the federal government has agreed to implement the solar hybrid project to address power disruptions in East Sabah, as well as the development of Sabah's power grid, South Sabah.
Deputy Premier of Sarawak, Dr. Sim Kui Hian, is optimistic that the formalities related to the Sarawak Heart Cancer Centre project will kick off soon. This, is said, was in response to the recent announcement by Prime Minister Dr. Sri Anwar Ibrahim, who included the project in Budget 2024 during a parliamentary session earlier today. This announcement signals a significant step forward in the realisation of the Sarawak Heart Cancer Centre, a project that has been eagerly awaited. The Budget 2024 allocation is seen as a critical development in securing the necessary resources to begin the project. Now, for further details and reaction on the matter, we have our reporter live from the Borneo Convention Centre, BCCK, in Kuching, where Dr. Sim attended the Asia for Animals Dinner Ceremony 2023. Go ahead, Lorenzo.
Thank you, Cheryl. Currently, I'm at Borneo Convention Centre, Kuching, for the Asia for Animals Dinner Ceremony 2023, where the guest of honour, which is our Deputy Premier of Sarawak, Public Health, Housing and Local Government Minister Dr. Sim Kui Hian, who has attended the dinner ceremony. And what he said in a statement issued today, he hopes to get the formalities over the Sarawak Heart Cancer and the Sarawak Cancer Centre project to commence soon, following the Prime Minister Dr. Sri Anwar Ibrahim inclusion of the project in Budget 2024, which the latter was announced in Parliament today. So Dr. Sim, he said he was anticipating the announcement on September 16 when the Prime Minister came for Malaysia Day celebration in Kuching, but it did not happen. So what he said, this had led to Dr. Sim following up on the issue on their trip to New York recently. So finally, for the official statement, he said that he wants the necessary paperwork signed so that he hopes for the project to get started soon. So on Federal Constitution 112D, which stipulates Sarawak's entitlement to a special grant annually, Dr. Sim, who is Batu Kawah Assemblyman, said 2024 will be the second year Sarawak receives the grant amounting to 300 million ringgit. He expressed gratitude for the allocation and he hopes for the permanent grant based on the formula after 60 years of the formation of Malaysia. It is also his wish to see the devolution of autonomy in areas of health and education as soon as possible. In general, he hopes to see the details of Budget 2024 so that there is a clear picture of how many are funding of existing ongoing projects and how many are truly new projects. So far, that's all the updates that I have for today. I'm Lorenzo Isaac and videographer Ahmad Nasrullah for TVS Kuching.
All right, thank you, Lorenzo, for that insight earlier. Now on to the next highlight. Sarawak budget to support the Sarawak Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, or SSPCA, in their endeavour to establish a modern and advanced animal village. Sarawak's Premier Dr. Patigi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tunapeng praised the organisation for its invaluable contributions to promoting animal welfare within the state, including efforts such as educating the public on responsible pet ownership and actively collaborating with local authorities and relevant agencies to combat the spread of diseases like rabies.
My office definitely would like to assist SSPCA by pledging some allocation in the next budget to SSPCA for you to fulfill your vision of creating a new state-of-the-art animal village that will foster stronger community development.
The SSPCA, currently located at Kota Sentosa, has faced flood-related disruptions that pose a safety risk to the animals for the last 2 years. According to its president, Datin Dona Joiwi, the animal village will be developed on approximately 1.2 hectares of land in the Sungai Tapang area, with construction cost estimate at 7 million ringgit. This new proposed location has the capacity to accommodate around 170 cats and dogs at any given time.
But this is our aim, to change the perception of animals and their welfare in this new animal village. In line with Sarawak's goal of becoming a developed state by 2030, we must elevate our treatment of animals, promoting education in animal welfare, cultivating a culture of compassion, respect, and responsibility towards all living animals.
Currently, there are 500 cats and dogs housed at the SSPCA Animal Shelter in Kota Sentosa, situated on a 0.6 hectare site.
Meanwhile, Sarawak's Premier Dato' Patigi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tunapeng advises local authorities to adhere to standard operating procedures or SOPs in enforcing anti-rabies measures, including the eradication of stray dogs. He also emphasizes the need to monitor animals' welfare.
On October 1st, the Deputy Minister of Agriculture and Food Security Chan Fong Hin said the government's aim to vaccinate 40,000 pets in Sarawak this year as an effort to curb the spread of rabies. As of September 7th, 27,668 pets have been vaccinated. Since 2017, Sarawak recorded 949 rabies cases, with 72 affecting humans and resulting in 65 fatalities. In this regard, Abang Johari stressed the importance of a robust neutering program over offering incentives to the public. Owners must also ensure their dogs do not roam freely, which can pose risk to the community and the environment.
The challenge now is for us to work together in terms of new diseases, that is animal to human. And that's where we are giving emphasis on this animal protection and animal health, because it coexists. If one is dying, the other one will also be dying. In other words, it has to be a collective action, and I would like to commend SSPCA, the vet, and people who are involved in this for your patience. And the Sarawak government is committed to that.
Meanwhile, Abang Johari also commends the Sarawak Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, SSPCA, and the veterinarians for their commitment and efforts to provide protection and care for animals in Sarawak. He said this in his speech when officiating at the opening ceremony for the ASEA for Animals AFA Sarawak Conference held at Borneo Convention Centre, Kuching, earlier today.
The need for increased representation in Parliament for Sarawak and Sabah have become increasingly evident, having their voices amplified in the national political arena. It is crucial to foster an inclusive and equitable political landscape that accommodates the diverse needs of all Malaysian states and regions. However, claims made by a rise of social efforts, if taken seriously, would cause Sarawak and Sabah to remain stagnant, especially in terms of development, as the allocation of funds by the federal government is related to the number of representations in the Parliament.
Chief Political Secretary to the Premier of Sarawak, Fazruddin Abdul Rahman, in a statement said demands for the one-third representation of both states is backed by historical basis, as reported in paragraph 236, subsection A of the Cobalt Commission report. He noted that when Singapore separated from Malaysia, the distribution of parliamentary seats was not fairly divided between Sarawak and Sabah, resulting in an imbalance of power. The arguments for representation based on population size may not apply to the states due to vast land areas and sparse populations. Fazruddin emphasized the importance of restoring power balance to protect the special rights of Sarawak and Sabah, as well as to prevent unfavorable federal laws. This aligns with the Malaysia Agreement 1963, MA63, and the desire of Sarawakians and Sabahans to achieve development comparable to the Peninsular Malaysia. Additionally, he stressed the need for development in Sarawak and Sabah to be tailored to their specific needs, considering various factors like healthcare, education, infrastructure, and regional characteristics.
The Cheongsam Cultural Festival themed Love of Cheongsam, Beauty of East Cultural Festival is once again infusing Kuching with vibrancy. As in the previous year, the Mayor of Kuching South City Council, Dr. Ooi Hong Seng, has announced that the festival is designed to not only celebrate cultural diversity, but also to spotlight Sarawak's rich multi-ethnic heritage.
The festival is aimed to showcase our Sarawak rich multi-ethnic heritage. Now, one of the main objectives is to nurture a sense of pride within our community, celebrating the diverse culture. Additionally, it seeks to strengthen relationships and bonds within the community among public and private organizations. The Cheongsam Cultural Festival 2.0, Love for Cheongsam, Beauty of the East, is planned to take place across the two distinct yet conveniently on our close location. Now, the one will be at the Malaysia-China Friendship Park, and the other one will be at Dewan Masyarakat Community Hall in MBKS.
The festival, scheduled for October 21st, will be filled with various simultaneous and yet distinct activities at two locations.
The Work in the Garden, the Taste in the Garden, Fun Life Sketch Workshop, and enthralling showcase of Chinese dialogue scheduled from 8 a.m. to 12 noon at Malaysia-China Friendship Park. Meanwhile, the Dewan Masyarakat will be bursting with various activities from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, including the Sarawak Asian Cheongsam Competition.
The Sarawak ASEAN Cheongsam Competition 2023 comprises of 3 age categories: Group A, 18 to 45 years old, Group B, 45 years and above, and Group C, 5 to 12 years old. In October 2022, the Sarawak Chinese Women Association achieved a landmark feat, entering the Malaysia Book of Records, bringing together a total of 316 participants adorned in Cheongsam dresses.
Coming up right after the break, more on Budget 2024. Nigeria airstrikes kill around 100 bandit fighters. Only on TVS Nightline. Stay tuned. Welcome back. More than 2.4 billion ringgit will be earmarked by the government, specifically under the Social Welfare Department. Prime Minister Dr. Sri Anwar Ibrahim said this would aid over 450,000 people, especially persons with disabilities, PWD, elderly, and those in poor household.
Out of the amount, an estimate of 1.2 billion ringgit is set to provide various forms of assistance, such as care for bedridden persons with disabilities, PWDs who are unable to work, and allowances for disabled workers.
1.2 bilion ringgit disalurkan melalui pelbagai bentuk bantuan seperti penjagaan OKU kronik terlantar, OKU tidak upaya bekerja, dan allowance pekerjaan OKU.
Furthermore, the allowance for disabled trainees in the Community Rehabilitation Program in 2024 will double to 300 ringgit per month from the current rate of 150 ringgit, benefiting over 18,000 trainees with an additional allocation of 30 million ringgit. Additionally, a special financing facility of 50 million ringgit has been arranged by BSN to support micro-entrepreneurs with disabilities. Similarly, a total of 1 billion ringgit is set to protect the welfare of senior citizens, which includes funding for cash assistance and distribution of funds for senior care institutions and activity centres.
Warga Mas, 1 bilion ringgit diperuntukkan bagi melindungi kesejahteraan warga Mas. Ini termasuk institusi penjagaan dan pusat aktiviti warga Mas.
The Budget 2024 underscores the Unity Government's heartfelt endeavour to elevate the well-being of its people. Minister of Women, Children and Community Welfare Development Sarawak, Dr. Sri Fatimah Abdullah said that it is the right way to go, but should not only be confined to people with disabilities.
Fatima added that other than persons with disabilities, PWD, it should also include single mothers as well as young senior citizens. As for the continuation of the disabled chronically homeless, disabled persons unable to work, and allowances for disabled workers, the allocation must also include increased allowance for the caregiver of those chronically ill and disabled. She also proposed that with the increased population of the senior citizens, it is only right for more allocations to be provided to addressing their poverty, health, housing, and mobility issues.
Additionally, 6.8 billion ringgit will be allocated for the technical, vocational education and training TVET programs next year. Prime Minister Dr. Sri Anwar Ibrahim announced that 17 government-linked companies, GLCs, and 44 private companies had signed a total of 61 Memorandum of Understanding in effort to boost the nation's TVET education in collaboration with GLCs and the private sector.
Tahun depan, keseluruhan pendidikan TVET melibatkan belanja 6.8 bilion ringgit. Kita memulakan secara rintis usaha merombak pendidikan TVET negara melalui kerjasama dengan syarikat GLC dan swasta.
The allocation covers cooperation through curriculum development, as well as contribution of equipment and expertise. The Prime Minister added further that the Human Resources Development Corporation would benefit from another 1.6 billion ringgit allocation in providing training courses.
Tahun depan, Pembangunan Sumber Manusia Berhad HRD Corp akan memanfaatkan dana 1.6 bilion ringgit untuk menyediakan 1.7 juta tawaran latihan.
The increased allocation for the technical, vocational education and training, or TVET sector, in Budget 2024 reflects the government's commitment to promoting the programs for the upcoming year. Vice-Chancellor of ICATS University College, Professor Dr. Shazali Abu Mansur said that this increase will contribute to the nation's goal of achieving high income by 2030.
The budget allocated by the government for TVET students reflects the seriousness of the government in promoting skill or TVET education in this nation. to achieve a high income nation by year 2030. Interesting to note also the government also introduced what we call as the Madrasah TVET, whereby students study in religious school are able to take the TVET program sponsored by the government. This is another innovative move by the government. This will provide the religious student or the madrasah student certain form of skill that can increase their productivity when they graduated from the school.
The allocation of 160 million ringgit for the creative and performing arts industry has garnered positive response from local creative players. Radio announcer Muhammad Sofyan Bujang, who has directly benefited from government funding for TV show production, affirmed that the increase in allocation for the industry will positively impact seasoned professionals and novice talents alike across the nation.
Kali ini 2024 dinaikkan semula agak tinggi daripada 120 juta kepada 160 juta dan saya harapkan perkembangan ini lebih menarik minat terutama sekali kepada golongan muda yang ingin menceburi ataupun ingin mendapatkan dana-dana yang telah diumumkan. 160 juta ini mungkin dapat dimanfaatkan oleh keseluruhan, bukan sekadar untuk kita menerbitkan kandungan kreatif, tetapi mungkin kita boleh bekerjasama dengan kementerian-kementerian lain di mana dana tersebut dapat ditambah daripada dana-dana kementerian lain untuk kita menerbitkan sesuatu impak kreatif yang dapat mohon izin cross-posting.
Lenny Ho, a 25-year-old content creator, believes that the 60 million ringgit allocation for digital content serves to reinforce and strengthen the content creation industry within the country. Lenny added the allocation establishes a more stable environment for content creators to pursue their artistic endeavors persistently.
It's really good for a lot of content creators because I feel like a lot of content creators, maybe because it's like kind of like a new job that's emerging, like that's more popularized, I guess, amongst the younger people. With more support from the government, I think there could be a lot of like big projects that could be carried out amongst content creators, and I feel like that's a good thing because then if like let's say like in a way it's like the country recognize the occupation lah, you know, so then it can bring up the reputation of a lot of like content creators, give legitimacy to like what we're doing. So I definitely do think it's like a step to the right direction, if I do say so myself.
A well-seasoned actor, Azam Pitt, on the other hand, lauds the reduction of tax for international performers to perform in the country that will greatly benefit the country's tourism industry by selling high-quality entertainment.
Saya rasa benda itu adalah selepas ini akan merancakkan lagi industri persembahan di negara kita, di mana mungkin selepas ini akan banyak lagi show-show daripada artis-artis luar. At the same time, benda itu adalah untuk mempromosikan tempat kita sendiri. Macam baru-baru ni kita buat Borneo Music Sonic.
Borneo Sonic.
Ya, Borneo Sonic. Benda tu sangat pada saya sangat sangat penting untuk kita dekat Sarawak ini sebab at the same time kita mempromosikan tempat kita. Pelancong-pelancong banyak datang dekat sini. Yang tak pernah datang kat Sarawak datang tengok culture kita sekali. Kita bukan saja menjual hiburan tetapi kita mempromosikan tempat culture kita juga.
Thank you for staying with me. The Health Ministry will be implementing several new development projects, including the proposed cancer centre in Sarawak under Budget 2024. Prime Minister Dr. Sri Anwar Ibrahim said the federal government would support Sarawak's desire to have such a centre in the state. The Health Ministry has been allocating 41.2 billion ringgit under the budget next year, compared with 36.3 billion ringgit this year, which was the biggest increase among ministries. 4.5 billion would be set aside to obtain supplies of medicine, materials, consumables, reagents and vaccines. And now on to some world updates. Nigerian military jets targeted a gathering of bandit militias in the northwest region, resulting in an estimated 100 gunmen killed. The military operation took place in Zamfara state, the Nigerian Air Force confirming the airstrikes without specifying the exact casualty count. Northwestern and central Nigerian states have for years been terrorized by gangs known locally as bandits who raid villages and kill and abduct residents for ransom in rural areas where state presence is weak. The gangs, notorious for violence including mass kidnappings, had gathered near the borders of Zamfara, Kebbi and Niger states with intentions to attack villages and a nearby military base. Fighter jets intercepted them near Andmani village, where the bandits were subjected to bombardment. This marks one of the most extensive aerial operations against bandits in Zamfara since the military's deployment in 2015 to counter the gangs. And that's all the updates we have for TVS Nightline. I'm Shol Chameto. Thank you for watching.